go ahead and introduce yourself, you guys.
Sure.
So I'm Christine. This is Brian. We've been together 15 years, married 8. And yeah, we have 3 kids.
I did your scores. So I'm going to go over Christine's first. Can you guys still see me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Christine, for your love languages, there's 3 categories, right? So there's words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. For words of affirmation, you got a score of 3. Quality time was 11. Receiving gifts was a 4. Acts of service was a 3. And physical touch, which was an 8. So your best form of receiving love is quality time. Second is physical touch. And third would be receiving gifts. And then words of affirmation and acts of service are both a 3. So pretty cool. And then, sorry, 1 second. I'm going back and forth on here. And then for adult attachment, you had, for closeness, you had a 3.8. For depend, it was a 3.3. And then anxiety is a 1.66. So just to go over what that kind of means. So closeness, the close scale measures the extent to which a person is comfortable with closeness and intimacy. So you're pretty comfortable with that. Depend measures the extent which a person feels she can depend on others to be available when needed. So you're pretty good with that. And then anxiety is a subscale measure that to the extent to which a person is worried about being abandoned or unloved, which you're pretty low on that, so you're not worried about that at all. And then for Brian, your love languages, you got a 5 for words of affirmation, 10 for quality time, 5 for receiving gifts, 4 for acts of service, 6 for physical touch. So your highest was quality time, which is the same as Christine's. The second highest was physical touch, same as Christine. And then after that, words of affirmation and receiving gifts were a tie. And then the last one was acts of service. Are you guys does that sound right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, and then adult attachment, I guess, again, for like closeness, dependent, and anxiety. Closeness was a 3.6. Depend was a 3. And then anxiety was a 3.6. So I don't know if you guys remember what they meant before, but for closeness is how comfortable you are with being close with someone. Dependent is if you can depend on others to be available when you're needed. And then anxiety is, worrying about being abandoned or unloved.
Before taking the assessment, did you know how your partner received love? If yes, how did you know? If no, what will you do with this new information?
So what was the question?
Before we took the assessment, did you know what our love language is? And if so, how did you know?
I guess not.
No, you never gave it a thought.
I mean, not like to that extent.
Yeah. How about you, Christine?
I feel like I knew that we liked to spend time together, but I didn't really know what love language was, I guess. Just as a relationship, we always like to spend time together. Like, we're always together.
What are some of the ways that in which you and your partner are able to mutually engage with positive emotions.
If it's positive emotions.
And if it's hard, you could say that too.
I'm putting things in front of the camera. With positive emotions. And I don't really know how to respond to that one. Is there a way to reword it?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a way to reword it to make it easier for you guys. Because it is worded kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I guess like maybe how do you guys like feed off of each other's positive emotions is more of a way. Like, do you both respond well to positivity?
Well, yeah, we respond well to positivity. If one of us is positive about something, the other one kind of is the same way, versus if one of us is negative, the other one would be negative too. So we kind of do feed off of each other's emotions, I guess, in that sense.
Okay, I feel like.
So are there parts of either of your early childhood that you can recall that has shaped your adult attachment style? And how has these events manifested themselves in adulthood or late adolescence?
If you want, I could go over Christine's scores again, and then I could go over Brian, so it's like more fresh.
Do you have anything in your childhood that has shaped the early relationship now?
You're a better person than my dad, I guess. No, not really, no.
Yeah,
Like-
that makes sense, what you said.
Like, do you feel like, you know, like, is there any reason why you have a problem being close to someone, or why?
You said it makes sense.
You cut off, can hear you.
You froze.
And that's why you are the way you are.
Is there anything in your childhood that...
Yahara, you froze a little. Can you repeat that? Can you repeat their attachment style?
Yeah, I feel just like with closeness, anxiety. So sorry, let me go over the scores again. So for Christine, we could just go over like maybe one of them. So Christine, like, you're very confident or your scores are pretty high for closeness and dependency. So like you feel comfortable in knowing that like people will be there for you, and you're very comfortable with being close with people, like adult attachment. Do you think there's something that influenced you like in your childhood?
As far as my childhood, I would say my mom. No matter what we went through, she was always there. If I ever felt like I needed somebody, my mom was always there no matter what we went through. And we went through a lot, so her being there kind of upped some of my trust, I guess, in certain people.
Yeah, definitely. And then for Brian, your highest scores were closeness, so you are comfortable with being close with people. And I think you guys can like even say each other, because you guys have been together since you were like in high school. So I feel like that's like adolescence, you know? So like you guys had an influence on each other.
Yeah, definitely.
And then anxiety seems to kind of match your closeness, Brian, which the anxiety of like being abandoned or unloved. And I mean, I could share personally for me, I feel like that was a big one for me. And that's just because like my father was absent during my childhood. So there's like an abandonment issue there, you know? So that's for most people, like if they have like a very important figure in their life being absent in their adulthood, that's usually why they score a little bit higher for that one.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of the same answer.
Yeah, so yeah, that makes sense.
You feel that you and your partner operate. So do you feel that you and your partner operate independently, where you guys do your own thing and you're comfortable with that? Do you feel like you guys operate dependently? You guys have to always do things together? Do you feel like you guys have to do things codependently, where it's just like for example, I'm gonna use you, Christine. Do you feel like Brian you have to have reassurance for Brian? Do you love me? Do you care for me? Is a man in the relationship that he feeds off of, or interdependently, where you guys still do things together, but you guys still give each other your space? You guys set boundaries. Like, how is it on like a day-to-day basis?
You guys can have, I think you both can have different answers, right? Because you guys view the relationship differently too, even though you're in the same relationship, you know?
What's your answer?
What's yours? Is there codependent?
It depends to do things together, but we don't always do it together. Like, you can't go to work with me, so I can't take you to work.
Yeah, I guess kind of that way, because I do my own thing at home with the kids, and he has work, and then he goes out with his friends to go fishing. We work as a couple, and we're together almost all the time, but we can do things independently. Does that kind of answer?
Right.
Yeah, that definitely does. Yeah, I feel like you guys maybe are like a little bit of everything.
We've been
Like,
together for so long,
I think so
it's
too.
kind of hard to pinpoint.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Like, no assessment is super accurate. There's always going to be like things you come across that kind of don't make sense. And you guys like are married and have kids, so it like makes sense that like certain segments in your life are different, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So